Hey folks, today we're going to take a look at a trap where if a character sits on a throne, it's going to ooze grease that smells like bacon. Now this is a trap that we created as a community, and if you'd like to see the video of the live stream where this entire trap came about, then I'll put a link in the description below. Also, if you're interested in seeing the full details of this trap, a little bit of backstory and how this trap came about, and an entire stat block for a bacon grease ooze, then you can find that on my website, wallydm.com, and I'll put a link to that in the description as well. But before we get started, just a reminder that if you're enjoying the content on this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, join us over on the Discord for more trap and puzzle discussions, and pick up a copy of my book, Wally DM's Journal of Puzzle Encounters, available now on DriveThruRPG. Now let's get started with this trap, the Bacon Grease Throne. So this is a trap that's going to take place in a throne room. Now, whether this is an active throne room with rulers that are already in power or nobles, or perhaps this is some type of an abandoned castle or something along those lines, is totally up to you. But regardless, we're going to have plenty for our characters to look at. There's going to be all kinds of decorations, statues, candles, and things of that nature. Now our trap is actually going to be this throne. So if one of our characters comes over here and sits on this throne, they're going to sit back into the cushion of this chair and it's going to activate the trap. And what's going to happen is their entire backside is going to be covered in a grease that smells like bacon. Okay, stop right there. Why would a character sit in a throne? That just sounds dangerous. Of course, we're going to need to lead them into this trap as a game master or a dungeon master. Now, if you're going to check out the article on my website, wallydm.com, you're going to be able to see that we included an entire backstory of how it is rumored that this throne grants some charismatic abilities. So maybe that's something the characters are seeking. Or, of course, there's a different way that you could run this. You could combine this with my Skyrim puzzle. I'll put a link to that as well. And in that Skyrim puzzle, the throne is actually used to open a door. So perhaps there's a few previous thrones that the characters have encountered before this point that are needed to open the door. Or maybe they need to open the door with this throne, and unfortunately one of them are going to have to endure the effects of the trap. So again, as a game master, we're going to need to entice the characters to sit in this throne. Be sure to leave a comment below and let me know how you would set this up. Now there is no saving throw for this character, as if they just sit in the back of the throne, again, they're going to be covered with this grease, and I'm going to make this an invisible grease, and it's actually some type of an ink that was put into the throne. Now, of course, I have orange here, but that's just on purpose of demonstrating the video. Again, this is going to be a grease that's going to cover the entire back of whoever sits in the throne. Now, whoever's back is covered with this grease is not going to be able to smell that bacon scent, nor are they going to be able to tell that the grease has coated their back. Now, if any of our characters have a passive perception of 15 or higher, they're going to notice that smell, and in fact, then we can allow them to make an investigation check, and they may see that the entire back is covered with this invisible grease. Now, before we go over the countermeasures of the trap, let's talk about the effects. This trap actually has two effects. The first one is an alarm, and once this character is coated with this bacon scent, it's going to attract some animals. And in fact, some nearby guard dogs are going to smell that bacon scent, and they're going to come in and attack. Now it's up to you as to how many guard dogs and their types. Perhaps it's some type of dire wolves, some type of Cerberus, or some type of warg, or even some hellhounds, depending on the setting. But regardless, they're going to smell that bacon scent. We're going to roll for initiative, and this character here is going to be the target. All of the wolves, all of the guard dogs, what have you, are going to center on that bacon scent. He smells delicious. Now the only way to get rid of this bacon grease that's on the back of this character is to submerge in cold water for at least 10 minutes, and then the grease will begin to break off in chunks and float about into the water. But now if these chunks of bacon grease are allowed to coalesce, or if the character does not wash off this grease within an hour, then it's going to animate and become a bacon grease ooze. And it's going to be attached to this character, and again, we're going to roll for initiative. Now, as far as the bacon grease ooze is concerned, we have a stat block that was provided to us by Dungeon Dad, and if you would like to take a look at it, you can find this on my website, wallydm.com, and I'll put a link in the description below. Now, there are some countermeasures to sit on this throne without activating the bacon grease ooze. If the characters were to take a close look at this throne and look around it, we can allow them a DC 15 perception check, and if they succeed on that, then they're going to be able to find a few grooves that are on the right handle or on the right side of the throne. And with a DC 15 investigation check to follow that up, they'll be able to determine that if they were to put a fingerprint on this, that they would be able to deactivate the trap of the throne and be able to sit in it with no problem. And of course, if one of our characters comes over and casts a detect magic, then it's going to reveal a conjuration magic, which is conjuring the grease or the bacon grease ooze. But now, of course, this entire trap hinges on a character sitting in the throne. So as a dungeon master or a game master, what would you do to entice your players to have their characters sit in this throne? Would you put out rumors that something magical could happen? Or would they think that they need to sit in this in order to open a door, a passageway, or some other effect? Be sure to leave a comment below and let me know what you're thinking. So that's all I have for you today. What did you think of the trap? Is this something that you could use in your game? And if so, what would you do differently? And would you like to see future live streams with more community trap creations? Let me know in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed this idea. Thank you very much for watching, and on to the next.